One of my favorite stories, we always call it the big fire. All these towns had fires at one time or another because they were made of wood, and everybody had wood stoves and lamps and everything with candles and such. So fire was pretty common in all these towns, but the one July 14th of 1900 in Prescott is the big fire, and it wiped out Whiskey Row. And that night, the town was getting ready, was celebrating a typical Saturday night. Sheriff Ruffner figured if he had to jail all the drunks that night, he'd have to put a tent over the whole town. And one guy got in a big rush to go down to celebrate, and he punched his candle into the wall there and forgot to blow it out when he went on down to all the celebrating. And the fire started, and by the time it just swept as it did, just quickly down Whiskey Row and through the business district. And they at the Palace Bar, the patrons in there removed the contents behind the back bar, and then they removed the back bar and they took it over across the street to where the courthouse is today. And there was also a barber chair in there and a piano player. And the piano player, they picked up the piano player and the piano and carried it across the street. And he took the barber chair and carried it across the street. And so while Prescott was burning, the Palace Bar resumed business over there, and the barber was cutting hair, and the bartender was serving drinks, and the piano player was playing. And they say that night that the most requested tune was "There'll Be a Hot Time in the Old Town Tonight." Well, my favorite part of this story, though, goes to the aftermath the next day. Well, one of my favorite parts, I should say, goes to the next day. The town was still smoking. They had to use dynamite to blow up to smother the fire. And the next day, though, the business people came back, and they went rifling through all the ruins and what they could, and they put them out on the sidewalk, and they opened up for business on the sidewalk and just went right back into business. And instead of what we hear today, well, where's the federal government? Where's the help? Who's gonna help me here? Who's gonna come and give me money and everything? These people didn't. That wasn't a thought. They were out there, and that's what I love about the frontier spirit. And Prescott sure, demonstrated that day. And also Bob Brow, who owned the Palace Saloon, he put up a tent. And there are photographs of it. It says Brow's Palace, and not ashamed of it.